Hello everyone, this is going to be my first theme park and roller coaster video that I make, and it's going to be about Disney World. Probably the most popular attraction that you can go to in the entire world. This is Walt Disney World in Florida. The video you're watching right now was actually filmed on the 4th of July of this year, which is actually when me and my other YouTuber friend, Theme Park Kyle, went to Disney World. It's obviously a lot of fun, and it was my actual first time, even though I'm a little bit older. And I wanted to see, what are the 5 best rides here? And now I came back with a clear answer. Obviously, this could change in the future if I ever go back, but even though Universal's better, we gotta talk about Disney and their top 5 rides, in my opinion. Okay, so number 5 is gonna be Tron Light Cycle Run. If I didn't mention it earlier, we're gonna be doing every type of ride. It can be a dark ride, it can be a drop tower, it can be literally anything. We're ranking the 5 best attractions at Disney. Anyway, I think Tron was really cool. I think it was a really cool experience for a first timer. The queue line is really good. This part you're watching right now, we didn't really get to experience it, but it was cool. I think that's a really cool design, and it fits the theming very well. I think the actual queue line is cool, but I feel like it could have done a lot better, to be honest. I wish this was like a dueling ride, because, you know, there's orange team, there's green team, there's blue team, but you're only on blue team. There's no other team. It's kind of weird, but it's still a really cool experience. That's my only complaints, to be honest with you, and the only other complaint, the outside's really short. I was really surprised, but they have a really good launch. The actual outside part's cool. The theming you're seeing right here, see, there's an orange team. Where's the orange team? There's 2 stations. They should have made one of them orange, but that's okay. Hopefully they can do that in the future. I think the restraints are pretty interesting. My first time doing something like that. Definitely fit the theming well as well. And I think the soundtrack that they were playing through the whole time was also good. Just kind of like the intense music was great. I love whenever they have something like that. Yeah, the station was also really cool. I think the whole ride itself was a very unique experience for a first timer, and I'm very, very happy with how it went. We got to ride it twice, and one time it was actually during the fireworks, which was pretty interesting. But now you're seeing the actual ride experience right here. You know, it was cool. I really liked it, and you know, the launch was obviously the best part. The inside section, it was good for sure. I think it was really cool, but I feel like it could have done a lot better. Number 5, definitely a cool ride, very cool attraction, and that's just where it's gonna stay. And you know, it'll probably be there for ever. No, I'm just kidding, but yeah, here's the actual ride. There's the launch. I'm only gonna show you guys the outside part, which is pretty much the only cool part. But yeah, it's a cool ride. I think this right turn's cool. I think the actual inside dome is also cool. But yeah, you get to this inside part, and I feel like the ride just ends right there. I feel like that's just it. I feel like there's nothing else really cool and special about it, to be honest with you. That drop right there is pretty cool, though. And I think the whole theming part is really good. So definitely lived up to the standard, but it just didn't meet the expectation. All right, moving on. Okay, number 4 is going to be Rock and Roller Coasters, and this now might surprise some people because this is a really awesome ride. Has a great launch, great theming, you know, all of the above. I think the pre-show, which is not shown on here, was pretty cool, but I didn't really want to just put it in here because it's kind of boring, but I mean, it's pretty interesting on your first ride. It's Aerosmith, which is definitely a cool band, but, you know, just the actual pre-show was not the best. You know, I think the theming is obviously amazing. You know, even the you know, people are dressed like the people who are making the ride. Like anybody who's working there is dressed in the theming, which is really cool. I think Universal does that as well. Just those that theming just makes it 10 times better. I think the limo, you know, train is really cool. I think this beginning part, it kind of is a little bit of suspense. It's pretty scary, actually, just on your first ride, because you're kind of just sitting there like, oh gosh, what's going to happen? You know, and it's a pretty long launch. It's a straight track for like an extra 2 seconds, which is pretty cool. You know, I'm really happy they take your photo right as the launch happens instead of like in the middle of the ride, like Dinosaur. But anyway, I think this is a very cool attraction. I think, you know, I could ride this any day, all day. It's very fun. But I think the other 3 rides ahead of it just kind of beat it out. So it didn't make the top 3. But it definitely has very cool, you know, parts. I think, you know, the loop and the corkscrew and all the theming and all that's really cool. You know, the soundtrack, you know, they are playing Aerosmith music the entire time. There's the launch right there. And I think it's a really cool ride, but it just missed out on the top 3 because of the fact that it's a little bit shorter, and I feel like it's just a bunch of turns and brake runs after the first two loops and the corkscrew. So the great theming, all of the above, but it's in the best park out of the resort, but it just didn't hit as well as the other three. All right, let's head on to the next attraction. Let's watch this a little bit more. That theming's really good, but it makes sense. They're in Hollywood, all that stuff, and it definitely fits Hollywood Studios. They're in Hollywood. There's the corkscrew. So I think all of that really hits it, but I just think the other three rides beat it out. It's still a great ride though, and I highly recommend riding it if you're tall enough, because most people who go to Disney are kids. But anyway, Okay, number 3, surprise, surprise, an Epcot ride made it on the list. This is probably the best theming out of any ride besides one other. Guardians of the Galaxy. This ride was so unexpected to me. I did not know anything about this ride. I didn't watch any POVs or anything like that. This ride was amazing for me personally because I got to ride in the front row and the back row. I got the two best experiences. I think this train, I think it's really cool. I think, the theming is unbelievable. The pre-show is hilarious, and, Terry really makes it really funny, and it's a cool villain. All the whole thing is just really cool. And, obviously it has the 2 stations, and you really feel like you're submerged into Guardians of the Galaxy, and, like, it's also just funny. Like, if you ever ride it, there's some funny jokes if you listen to what they're saying. It's pretty funny. It's just a great ride. And then probably my favorite part about the ride, they play different rock music each time, which makes it so re-rideable. They have, Tears for Fears and Everybody Wants to Rule the World, which we got one time. We got September, just a bunch of great different stuff. This part right here, if you watch the pre-show, this will make sense. Even though it's like a spinner, it's just kind of like a Wild Mouse-ish ride. Vekoma did a great job with this. The design is really cool. I think the launch that you're about to see in a second is really cool. The theming right here, just look at this. This is so cool, and I just really like it. And, this part right here, I think we jump back. That's what my girl says, and then it shines a bright flash, and then you launch backwards, and then you start spinning. You can't see it on that video, but you start spinning. And this is just such cool theming. Come on, this is so cool. Like, I really think that they needed to put this in Epcot because there's a lot of boring stuff in Epcot, and they didn't have, like, a really big ride until now. They have an actual good ride there. It really, changed how I thought about Epcot. I thought Epcot was going to be terrible, but then I rode this, and it was just so underrated for me personally. I think some of these turns in the ride are also way more intense than I expected, and, it's just really fun. I feel like you can just laugh on this ride. It's just really cool. And, by the way, we're 8 minutes into the video, so buckle in. We got 2 more rides to talk about. I think the theming on this, but once again, like, this is the Milky Way galaxy right there. It's just really cool. And, I just love this ride. And I think there's one part in a second that I'm going to talk about. It's right here. You go up this little hill, and you get, like, a little pop of, like, airtime right here for some reason. It doesn't show it on the video, but if you're going fast enough, bro, you get a little pop of airtime right there. But anyway, yeah, the moon right there was really cool. I was singing the whole time on the second ride. I was singing Everybody Wants to Rule the World. But anyway, these turns right here were actually really cool. There's the Earth right there. Just this whole ride experience was really fun. It was very unexpected once again, because whenever I went here, it wasn't hyped up to me. Every other ride, I knew what they were. I didn't know anything about Guardians of the Galaxy. I knew about Tron. I knew about Rock and Roller Coaster, and I knew about the other rides I'm going to talk about. I didn't really even know about Guardians of the Galaxy until we got there. So, it was really cool. I think this ending right here is actually pretty funny. I think Drax is hilarious. But yeah, great ride experience. A lot of fun, very re-rideable, all the above. So, moving on to the top 2 rides at Disney. Let's go to it. Okay, number 2. This was crazy. The Tower of Terror. I love whenever the people put their hand on the glass right there at the beginning of the ride. So basically, this ride is really cool. This has the best theming out of any ride in Disney. It's number 2, though. This ride's unbelievable. I was so shocked whenever I first rode this. Do not watch POVs. Do not watch this video if you're going to ride this. just get off of my video right now because this ride is unbelievable. The theming is insane. That part right there, unbelievable. Just everything is so good about this ride. A POV of this is actually kind of because it's really dark whenever you're doing the drops and stuff. But yeah, the drops were unbelievable, give you some crazy airtime. Very unexpected. Once again, I said not just roller coasters, but rides. And this is why. This is the only non-roller coaster on here. It's a drop tower, but just such a great ride, such great theming. Once again, all of the above. It just hits every mark. This is just unbelievable. I didn't even know there was a dark section right here, like before you even get to the actual drop tower. You know, the the soundtrack is great on this. The guy talking, he's from the original like Twilight Zone TV show, and his voice is just like really good, and I think the pre-show is unbelievable. I didn't show that on here, but the pre-show is really good. It's not as good as Guardians of the Galaxy pre-show in my opinion, but a very good pre-show. Make sure you check that out if you can. Very good pre-show. It really sets the stage for, and it's actually pretty scary. I mean, if you're younger or if you've just never ridden it before, it's actually pretty scary. And another cool part, it either does a launch upward or a drop downward on this drop that you're about to see in a second. Which obviously you can't see anything right now, but you will see it in a second. But anyway, the theming's really good. There you go. And just a really cool ride experience. It changes a lot. It's so re-rideable because like the experience is so much different because it can drop, it can launch. There's other different points. It depends on what station you end up in. All of that is in effect here. So that's just really cool. It makes it so re-rideable. We rode it like 8 or 9 times across a couple days. So fun, There's parts where you shake. There's parts where it feels like, lightning is striking you. That's what it's kind of trying to do. And, it launches you upward and downward. You can see the screen of the people being struck by lightning. You can see so many other stuff. And then this is the end. After you do all the drops, you go down to this little area right here. And it shows, the screen. It's kind of like hypnotizing, I guess. And it shows kind of like all the theming that just happened. And if you see at the very end, this is the guy who's talking through the whole thing. So watch a POV of the actual noises. That guy right there. If you watch a POV and you have the sound on, you will hear that guy talking through the entire thing. It's just such a good ride, dude. I loved this experience. And we're 12 minutes and 30 seconds in the video. Make sure you have grabbed a snack by now because this is a long video. This is a very long video. But anyway, awesome ride. Unbelievable. I really enjoyed it. But it didn't crack number 1. Number 1 is pretty controversial, but it's really, really good. All right. And the number 1 ride at Disney World is Dinosaur at Disney's Animal... Just kidding. It is Expedition Everest at Disney's Animal Kingdom, which is actually pretty close to Dinosaur, but I just kind of faked you guys out right there. Dinosaur is trash compared to this. Sorry, theme park Kyle. Anyway... This part right here that you're about to watch is pretty boring. But besides that, this ride is astonishing. I was so impressed. The ride is intense. It's fun for the entire family. It's just a great ride experience all around. The theming is unbelievable. It's not as good as Tower of Terror's theming, but I think the ride experience is just better. I got to ride it in the back rug, and, it was very intense right there. The theming right here, whenever you're going through this tunnel, you can see the Yeti. The guy who made this ride or helped make the theming of this ride, during the queue line, you could see all these things he found in Nepal where Mount Everest is. So, it's just really cool. I'm just really happy I got to ride this. What an experience, man. This part right here, you take a left turn into the mountain, and then, you go up this hill, and the Yeti has destroyed the track. And I think if you go in the front row, it's probably the best experience because you can see this view of, a lot of Disney. And whenever you're on the lift hill, you are actually able to see the Epcot ball, the Magic Kingdom, I'm blanking, the Magic Kingdom, I'm sorry, I'm blanking. But anyway, you go into this backwards section, and it's very intense in that part, even though people say it isn't. There's one little part where you slow down a little bit. Magic Kingdom Castle, that's what I was trying to say. Anyway, there's the part where you're going to have one of the best parts of the ride. You can see that in the distance. And here's the great theming part of the ride. You know, you're sitting back here and you're watching the Yeti break the track. So you have to go a different way. And what way are you going to go? Forward or backward? You're going to go forward, obviously, because you just saw that little sliver of light right there, which is where you're going to drop. And let's go ahead and watch that right here. Probably one of the best parts of the ride. Launched you forward, and now you are dropping down. And that is really cool. I love that drop. And you take a left turn right here. You know, just whenever the sunlight is hitting it, it's just so cool. We did it in the morning and one time in the afternoon. Got to ride this probably 5 or 6 times. I was really happy I got to ride this. Once again, thank you to Theme Park Kyle for taking me to Disney, for inviting me there, and just I got to have an awesome experience. That Helix is great, by the way. Don't hate on it, please. And now we get to the part that Theme Park Kyle calls the Disco Yeti. Unbelievable. Great theming. But anyway, Expedition Everest, the best ride at Disney, in my opinion. Highly recommend riding it if you were there. And yeah, we're going to get to the end credits. Alright guys, I won't keep you too long here. Thank you so much for watching this video. I know this is a long video, and if you made it all the way to the end, I'm very thankful. You know, watching this whole thing is very shocking. I'm very shocked if you see this, to be honest. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you really do enjoy my content, I would love if you subscribe to the channel. You don't have to turn the notification bell on, and, you know, I don't post insanely often. I won't be, you know, notifying you every 5 seconds like other YouTubers. And, you know, here's to all the people who made those POVs. Coaster Force and Attractions 360, thank you so much for making those POVs and making this video possible, along with Theme Park Kyle. Thank you for making this all happen. You know, I wouldn't have been able to go to Disney without you. And yeah, thank you guys for watching this video. God bless, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.